Apparently, fans seem to love that, as Elton Sawyer said himself in the press conference yesterday. Take a listen to what he had to say as he was addressing the media regarding this playoff system.
The playoff system, I would say it has delivered. I mean, it puts these guys on 10 tenths, and they got to bring their A game every week. So I think from a fan and watching today, you saw everything you wanted to see.
Well, not everything, Elton. Not in the right way.
What fans has he been talking to? I mean, every fan that I've seen fans that like this system that are like, you know what? I mean, our friend Seth Eves, he sent me his own tweet yesterday and said, you can repost this, you can mention it on your shows. Like, I've been the biggest playoff advocate, but I'm done. Something has to change here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
Brandon, I'm going to give you the floor here. I want to let you.
Well, don't do that. I can't. I'm not able to say too much, but
well, at least let you open up here. Since again, I was on wrap up yesterday, you were not. What's your main takeaway? I mean, what do you think? I mean, does Ricky Craven have a point? Do the drivers need to be penalized here? If you were king of the world for a day, what would your reaction to this be? And then what are your thoughts on what Elton Sawyer had to say? It just seems to me like the sport more and more, they're not even willing to acknowledge that the playoff detractors even exist.
It's mind-numbing sometimes and just depressing that it's the same thing that's going on from We Like What We're Seeing. It's the same response, just repackaged in a different way. Kenny Wallace is actually who I saw that Ricky Craven video from. He shared it and he said, quote, "This video by Ricky Craven is absolutely breathtaking." I think that's a Keanu Reeves call out, and reminds us all of why Ricky was one of the best TV analysts of all time. Great take, Ricky. And if Ricky Craven is going to come back to TV, I would hope he would do something with Kenny Wallace and Kenny Schrader. Maybe he can join them on Dirty Mo and do something there if he wants to return here and there, because at least you can do that from home. But the race manipulation, it's reared its ugly head again. And, that Ricky Craven has the respect for Ross Chastain. He has the respect for Bubba Wallace. But he says he's just about had enough with that Austin Dillon boy. And we wholeheartedly agree with him after multiple instances in the past several years, especially just this year at Richmond. Oh, boy, we agree with him. And I'm glad that the penalties are actually coming into consideration today, that we're hearing that they're going to be looking at those things. And, besides Election Day tomorrow, it's going to be a little busy. So maybe, Wednesday incoming, we'll give some penalties if they're going to be distributed. Yeah, I see all the comments here. Yeah, I do miss Ricky Craven on TV. I miss him on the track too. But besides that, Martinsville, man, knew something fishy was going to happen, and here it is on full display. And Ryan Blaney, what a move, man! What a comeback and that should be what we're talking about. But at the same time, as I was seeing it for the first time with everyone else, I didn't know that between Byron and Bell, I didn't know that it had flipped at the end. I didn't realize that they were that close together until they said, "Oh, he's out." But when I saw Jeff Burton, when he was saying that it's a darn shame that we're talking about this and not this, I just said out loud, without question, like, what do you expect? What did you expect? This is exactly what you put them in a box. This is exactly what you're going to get. This is exactly how this sort of thing in a vacuum organically plays itself out. You're going to have people that are, they're looking at all those cars that were behind William Byron, just stalking him around for laps and laps and laps, because they're all Team Chevy. And they're trying to cut their guy a break because they're told to. Like, anyone could see that. It was so obvious. Like, they had plenty of opportunity to pass him. They were going way too slow. And then also the Christopher Bell and Bubba Wallace, that one may be a little bit less suspicious, but to me, what's way more suspicious is the whole Chevrolet brigade behind William Byron, and where if he had that one spot that was going to be taken from him, then he would be out of the playoff picture. And then the whole debacle there with the Hail Millen recreation that didn't go as planned. And I mean, it turns out William Byron and Christopher Bell are good friends, and so they also didn't want to hurt each other. They have respect for each other, they didn't want to knock each other out, and so, but still accepting of, we just didn't show up this year. We didn't give it all we could. As far as Christopher Bell, he didn't blame the system for not making it in by the slimmest of margins, but I mean, that doesn't keep us from doing it. So we'll blame it for having this sort of night. I mean, what a disaster. And it's a shame that we're not being able to enjoy Ryan Blaney. But man, it's also a shame that we weren't able to enjoy, after all of that, the amazing battles up front. I mean, Chase Elliott having an awesome night and just not able to have a long run speed. Ryan Blaney that's a cool story. Denny Hamlin, good grief, what's he got to do? He's got to wait till next year. But he was, he had a fast car too, but there was some great racing up front, and it comes down to the end, and it comes down to people, playing teams.
Yeah, well, and like I said, on last night's show, I think there's a very strong case that can be made here that there are only 3 teams right now in NASCAR. One's
Toyota,
a bow
Ford,
tie,
and Chevy.
one's a blue oval, and
Manufacturers.
It's the 3 manufacturers: Chevy, Ford, and Toyota. Because and listen, Ford doesn't have anything to do with. I mean, I shouldn't say that. They won the race yesterday. They don't have anything to do with the controversy. I think Ryan Blaney said he was very thankful for that. But we've seen this before. I mean, everybody forgets with Spingate. You had Front Row Motorsports on the radio telling David Gilliland, like, hey, maybe we'll get something out of this. We got to help Joey Logano out. I mean, I think Ford and RFK and Penske and Front Row, they've worked together in the past in maybe some ways that, some fans would frown upon. We saw it obviously yesterday. Why in the world would an RCR and a Trackhouse Chevrolet care what happens to a Hendrick Chevrolet? It's got to be the higher-ups at Chevy that are telling their teams what to do, right?
Yeah, and there's got to be more behind the scenes and the manufacturer order underground that we don't know about.
And Toyota's case is a little different because obviously Denny Hamlin owns one of the teams and drives for the other. But, looking at Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell individually, why would Bubba Wallace necessarily care if Christopher Bell's in or not? Maybe he cares what happens to Tyler Reddick, but Tyler Reddick's already in. And talk about what Elton Sawyer says, you got to bring your A game every week. Tyler Reddick certainly didn't bring his A game yesterday. Did he have to? Did he get punished for not bringing his A game yesterday? I thought he was already locked in. He could afford to have an off day yesterday. So there you go. You're consistently inconsistent there once again.